You got one?
Yep. Yep. Fish on.
Nice work, Jay.
You're hung up there?
Yep, yep.
Right in the rocks. Whoa, acrobat.
Look at the size of that one. Nice chunky fish.
They are tall. Let's see if we can get another jump out of her.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite fish. There we go. All right. Nice way to start off the morning. There we go. Look at that. You can't even see that tube. Boy, get it out of there.
No, that fish still got spawn in him too.
Yeah. Got a pliers there?
Yeah, there you go.
There, I got it. There. Look at that though. You can't even see that tube.
You know, when they take those tubes, they
Yeah,
just chow them deep.
But yeah, isn't that just a gorgeous fish? You know, we're on the big pond today. We're what, an hour and a half from millions of people, and you know, this lake has long been one of the top walleye fisheries in Minnesota. What's really surprised me is just how much bad press this walleye fishery's gotten in the last couple of years when you look at, you know, really how good the fishing still is.
Absolutely.
You know, and what's even more surprising is the smallmouth bass fishery that's quietly developed here, kind of right underneath everybody's noses.
It's been almost a dirty little secret up here with the smallmouth bass. You know, you're looking at an average of 17, 18 inches, and the fish are really easy to catch. And it's been under-publicized, and like you said, with the bad press, with the walleye and such, people aren't taking the advantage of the smallmouth bass in the lake.
More and more people are discovering.
Slowly but surely.
I mean, it's by far probably the best bass fishery in Minnesota for smallmouth bass.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at it across the country, it's one of the best smallmouth bass fisheries in the entire country as far as I'm concerned.
Mille Lacs Lake is Minnesota's second largest lake and spans 132,000 surface acres. This famed fishery lies roughly 100 miles north of the Minneapolis-St. Paul metropolitan area and is regarded as one of Minnesota's most historical fisheries.
There we
Got
go.
him?
Oh,
not a
I
bad
love
fish.
the way.
Whoa! Wow!
Oh,
Look at how broad that fish is.
man, I love fishing these guys.
Oh, isn't that something? Look at that big old brown.
Oh,
There we go.
man, that is a nice tank, Jason.
That is.
Oh, he's got some spunk left out.
That is. Wow, look how thick these fish are. Nothing wrong with that. That's a nice bass anywhere.
That is that, and he even spit the tube on me.
Got him? There you go.
Look at that.
Isn't that a beauty?
That
Nice
right
work, my friend.
Thank you. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous fish.
Yeah, look at how tall they are. Just look how thick they are.
They are. They're a real tall fish.
You know, this is pre-spawn, you know,
Yep.
and they changed the regulations. Why don't you touch on that a little bit? Because it's kind of controversial. There's people that are for getting these bass out of here. There's people that don't like the smallmouth in this lake. There's some people that think it's a pretty neat resource and they want to protect it.
Exactly. There's two sides to the story. What you got is there's guys, the smallmouth guys that target them, and they want these big fish going back into the water. And the other side to it is the DNR has opened it up to where you can keep 6 smallmouth bass this year. Now the bass guys, they don't really want people taking these trophy fish out of the lake, but on the second hand, there's so many of it and it's an underutilized resource that the DNR feels comfortable with letting people take the fish. Now me personally, I'm not gonna take a bunch of smallmouth home and eat them.
Keeping a fish like that to eat, that's like throwing an oak chair in your fireplace.
Exactly, it is, it is.
To eat your home.
Exactly. I mean,
That's my opinion.
It is, and that's where everyone's got their own stance on it. I'm the same as you. I'd like to see those nice big fish go back in the water because I want to keep doing this year
Yeah,
after
well,
year.
it's such an incredible deal where it's turnkey. You can almost come out here and if you expect to catch fish like that, and that's because
Absolutely.
people have thrown those fish back. I tell you what, I mean, come over to our Facebook page and let us know what your opinions are. I'd be interested to know what our viewers think of the smallmouth regulations. Are you for it or are you against it? Do you like the bass in the lake? Do you appreciate catching them, or do you hate them? And we see all kinds of different opinions, but come over to our Facebook page and let us know what you think. From our base camp in Devil's Lake, North Dakota, we travel the whole Midwest looking for the best fishing bites. If you like real-time fish reports, find out what bodies of water that we're fishing, just to find the general patterns and techniques that we're using, give us a like on Facebook and hit the road with Jason Mitchell Outdoors.
So for rods, you know, you don't need to go out and buy all new tackle to do this. 9 times out of 10, what you got in your rod box will fill the niche for these smallmouth quite well. Like right now I'm using 7-foot medium light in the Jason Mitchell series, and the reason why this rod is so nice is I can literally throw a split shot on it and a plain hook and rig walleyes, and I can cut when I'm done with that, I can cut the tube off or cut the rig off, throw a tube on it, and it's got the perfect action. So when I cast this, the bounce back, and it's hard to explain the bounce back on a rod, but either a rod has it or it doesn't. So the tube's down there on the bottom now, and you're just giving it a bounce, and that line is staying in contact with the guides. And in a sense, what that means is when a fish grabs that, I'm gonna feel it. It's not letting the line go slack. So that's the action of the rod. You want that medium light action rod, depending on the size tube and the size weight you're using. Oh, it doesn't feel as good as the last one. Actually, he's starting to grow on me now.
Hey, he's charging you, huh?
Yep.
Get reeled in here and give you a hand.
Oy.
How is it?
It is another chunky fish.
Oh yeah, look at there. Oh wow, look at that. Oh, look at that. There we go. Another nice one. Great bass. Great bass.
Oh yeah. See, what we're fishing here is, you see a lot of guys when they come to Mille Lacs, they fish really close to the shoreline and they're throwing baits at docks. Well, that's not really what we're doing here today. It is, oh, there you go. The typical way of fishing largemouth, a lot of guys take that mentality of casting at docks and casting at weeds up here. And what you want to focus on is the 6 to 12 feet of water on the points off of shore. If a guy's casting at docks, it should be on a day where it's been calm for 2 or 3 days and those fish need to get up into the shade. That's typically when you're going to find your smallmouth hiding under docks. 9 times out of 10, you're going to find them in the offshore points around big boulders. And typically, the bigger the rock, the bigger the bass.
So one little tip, just to allow you to kind of keep up with the adjustments during the day. Say the wind comes up, you slide a little deeper as far as making that sporadic bottom contact. Is instead of using a bigger jig, just pulling a worm weight out of my pocket here, but just shove a worm weight or a split shot up into your tube. Shove it up in there as far as you can. That's just a fast adjustment that you can do to increase the weight of that jig. As this wind picks up, you just keep on fishing.
Oh, that's a nice fish.
Good, good, good. I'll get reel in here.
Wow.
Nice bass. Whoa, jumped into the net. I could have had the net a foot out of the water and caught it.
Wow. Oh man.
Another chunk.
Another chunk. Come here, buddy. Oh, another nice, chunky Mille Lacs fish. And what we're using is a tube. And this tube here, the head actually has a rattle in it. And yesterday, they didn't want a rattle. Today, it seems like they want a rattle. And it's a simple tube. You know, green, you can use your pumpkin seed or your watermelon. Those are the tubes that are working. That's about a 3-inch tube, and it's working really, really well today. There he goes.
There's a fish.
There he is. Whoa, Jason's got some weight on that one.
There we go. Look at there. Look at there.
That.
Wow. Tell you what, this is I just love the horsepower these fish have. You don't tell them what to do you?
No, not at all. That one still looks a little green.
Yeah, we'll wear her out a little bit.
Wow. They just got so much heart and soul in them.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, whoa.
Look at that. Look at that. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Isn't that a beauty? Tube out. Yeah, just a gorgeous fish. I mean, just beautiful color on them, beautiful fins. I mean, there's just no marks on these fish. They're just gorgeous. There. Brad was just touching on tubes. You know, the incredible edible tube. You can't go wrong with tubes for smallmouth bass, especially when they're on these rocks like this. And you know, they look so much like a crayfish, I think, is the mystique of it, but they look like a lot of things a bass will eat. But, you know, just the traditional earth tones of brown. Brad was touching on earlier, and I've heard this from a lot of Mille Lacs folks, where you can't go wrong with brown with red metal flake, or there's motor oil, whatever you want to call that color combination, pumpkin seed. But dark earth tones with that brighter metal flake. I'll show you the rattle here. And some of it is just using a larger jig to make better bottom contact. Just letting that jig hit the bottom. See, there's that rattle. And you just imagine this heavier jig. That's a 1/8 ounce jig with that rattle. You're just snapping along the bottom. Monofilment's important out here. Ever since the zebra mussels got in here especially, this water's really clear. And so typically people are using anywhere from 8 to 10 pound monofilament. And the key is just casting up on these rocks, making some bottom contact, finding those big boulders, and just snapping it through. Twitch, 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 letting it glide. Twitch, 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 letting it glide. And that's been the pattern today. But what we're doing here is just a controlled drift along these reefs. Brad's just pushing us in and out of gear with a transom-mount electric trolling motor. And the beauty of it is this clear water, especially if you have polarized glasses, you can see a lot of the rocks, and you can see a lot of these locations that we're casting to, and you can actually even start to see some of the areas where they're starting to actually make their beds. But just casting towards the shadows, looking for those big boulders, those big rocks. And a lot of times what we're finding is on the very top of the shoals and the tops of the reefs, the rocks are getting a little smaller, and so a lot of times it's on the sides where these big rocks are, and a lot of these rocks are half the size of a boat, or some of them are even bigger. But those are the sweet spots, and you know, it's kind of a deal where good spots hold good fish, in the sense that if it's a spot's a really good spot, you could pick a fish off there, and a week later another new fish moves in because it's a good spot. And so a lot of these spots are worth marking on your GPS. There you go. That's a good fish. Wow, I thought you were a snake.
I did
that
too.
rod tip buried.
The way that one, man, it did. I was letting that tube fall to the bottom, and on that first pop, oh, that's
a good fish.
Yep. Wow.
You know, we've caught some really nice fish today, but we haven't seen the super tanker that we know is in here. This might be it.
This may be. I can't even get him up.
You can't even steer that fish, can you?
No.
That fish is doing whatever it wants to do. Do you want me to turn the boat or anything?
Oh, wow.
Wow, wow, wow is right. Look at the size of that fish.
Look at him right underneath, just dogging me right underneath the boat.
This is a big fish.
Look at that rod just bending.
Big fish.
Whoa,
wow.
Man.
Wow, look at that.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, geez.
Nice work. Wow. Isn't that a beauty? Isn't that a beauty?
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Look at that.
Wow.
That is a special fish right there.
Just a tanker. This is your big fish on Mille Lacs. This is,
yeah, that's a big fish anywhere.
Man.
That is a special fish right there.
The dark colors on them, heavy, heavy, heavy weight.
Wow. Well, let's get that fish released. What a beauty. There's a fish.
Nice.
Boy, that fish just picked it right up off the bottom.
Oh, that looks heavy. Oh, it's another monster.
Yeah, that's a dandy. You know, this water's so clear, you can see him for so long. Tell you what that You know, when you had that big fish come up on the broad side of its back, looked like a 2x4, how thick it was.
Exactly.
These fish are just beautiful.
I wouldn't cut this one short, Jay. This one looks pretty dang big.
Well, I'm not wearing them down yet. Wow. Still, you just hang on. That's part of it too, is you're using lighter spinning tackle, 8-pound monofilament, basically using a jig. And what's funner than that? Yeah, beautiful fish.
They love being underneath that boat.
They do, don't they? Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that.
Just a beautiful. Oh.
Here. There. Look at that. Just a beautiful fish. I just love it when they get those leopard spots on them. Just a gorgeous coloration. Here, get that fish in the water. Just beautiful. And it's kind of an interesting time of the year in the sense that some of these fish are spawned out, some of them aren't. And you can actually see the beds, and you know, you just see these white, pale, clear spots, you know, through these rocks. And a lot of times, my personal opinion is, a lot of times when you can see fish, those are some of the harder fish to catch. And we've got a little bit of overcast now. We're able to get up on these shallow spots and cast. We can see a little bit. We've got a little bit of visibility. We can see some of the bigger boulders. We can see some of the beds. But in a lot of cases, we're casting blind. And with this overcast, I think it helps us, enables us to get up on these fish a little more, because that's tough fishing sometimes. You get fish in real shallow water, real clear water, where they see you, you see them, and it can be a lot trickier to catch those fish.
Yeah, Jason, in 2 weeks, where we're fishing is going to be similar areas, but offshore more. Now we're fishing these 6, 8, 12-foot points off of shore, underwater points. And then if you mirror this, when the crayfish molt starts to happen on the reefs that are about a quarter mile offshore, the smallmouth just go bananas. That crayfish molting period lasts about 2 weeks, and the water hits about 70 degrees. And that's when you get the smallmouth, you've seen them, where they get the big bloody nose from getting in between the rocks. It's just a fun time to come up here and fish. And they'll remain in those same areas all year. You know, you may not be able to catch them in 6, 8 feet of water or 12 to 14, but if you slip off and you have that mindset, the later in the summer you go, in the dog days, fish 16 to 18 feet with the same technique we're doing, just swimming these tubes around, you'll get bit on a fairly consistent basis. There we go.
Whoa.
Oh.
Wow.
Did you see the way that hit?
Wow. Where's that fish gonna run you? That fish,
just drilled it.
you would just assume that that fish is a lot bigger than a bass, the way that fish loaded up that rod.
Man.
Isn't that something? Wow, this has just been a great, wow, another big fish. It's been a great day of smallmouth fishing.
Man.
Look at that.
Oh, man.
No, you can forget about walleyes in a hurry when you can come out here and catch a lot of fish like this. Oh, almost knocked her off. Fish is still a little green.
Still a little green. This one's got that typical feeding mark on the top of his head.
They just get that from pushing into the rocks?
Pushing into the rocks.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. Here, I'll lift her up for you. Yeah, you see how that back is just scratched up from pushing in them boulders after them crayfish. Huh?
Wow.
There, look at that.
Wow.
Look at the girth on that fish. These are just gorgeous fish.
Man, this is gonna be you're not your typical fish, but you can see we've got 2 or 3 of them like this
This
today.
isn't your typical fishery, though. I tell you what, this is a special place. I can see why you guys have had to adapt, fish for things besides walleyes. And tell you what, with this type of opportunity out here, I don't know why more people aren't taking advantage of this.
I think they will now.
If this was in Alabama, there'd be a lot more boats out here.
Yep.
Let's get this fish in the water. Thank you so much. Great day on the water.
Thank you, Jay.
Jason Mitchell Outdoors is brought to you by Shields, North Dakota Tourism, Clam, Vexilar, Jason Mitchell Elite Series Rods, Ice Armor, Northland Tackle, Cooper Chevrolet, Bionic Line, and Salmo.
To find out more information on Jason Mitchell Outdoors, make their official webpage one of your favorite pages. Find out upcoming show schedules and air times, along with past shows, article and product reviews at jasonmitchelloutdoors.com. Great information on the outdoors is just one click away.